Hello and welcome to the Fiona Small Show. My name is Fiona Small. I'm back again with another show and another amazing guest. I'd like to welcome to the stage, or should I say to the screen, Maria M. Marshall. Welcome. So Maria, introduce yourself and tell the audience all about you, who you are, what you do. Over to you.
Okay, so hello, good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world. So as Fiona just lovely introduced me, my name is Maria Marshall, Maria M. Marshall, CEO, founder of Self Invest Club and McAlpine Care. So running two companies at the minute. One's in healthcare and the other one is like business development, contingency planning, and entrepreneurship, leadership and management, and all of that good stuff.
Excellent. Amazing. So McAlpine Care, let me start again. Pronounce that again for me.
McAlpine Care.
McAlpine Care. Tell me a bit about that. There's a bit of a tongue twister there. Go ahead. Tell me about what it does.
Well, with McAlpine Care, there's a little bit of a story behind that because I'm originally from Jamaica, so my parish in Jamaica is actually Westmoreland, and the district is actually McAlpine. So when I established the company, I needed something that had sentimental, value or something that could relate, that means something, especially when I was trying to build an empire. So I was like, let me go with that. So McAlpine Care was established 5 years ago. I'm actually in my 5-year anniversary of being a business owner.
Amazing. Congratulations. So what does it do? And interestingly enough, I'm a 3rd generation fellow Jamaican, and I have not actually, I know Westmoreland, but I've not actually heard of McAlpine. So thank you very much.
Way up in the west, darling. In the hills.
So tell me a bit about what inspired you. So you're in your 5th year of business, and you've gone into the care sector. Why the care sector in particular? Talk me through that.
Now, see, this one's a bit funny because anyone that you speak to that's in the care sector, they'll either tell you that they're falling into the care sector because of a life-changing experience that they've actually had themselves, or simply the fact that care chose them. For me, care chose me. I was currently, and more formally, in property. I was a trainee surveyor, and then unfortunately, when the recession kicked in 2008, unfortunately got made redundant. And, they say you always need a backup plan, or, plan B. And luckily for me, in college I studied health and social care. So I applied for a post in healthcare and I landed the post, and I've been in the industry for just under 15 years now. I'm practically vintage in it now.
Fantastic. So you stumbled into it. Would you say that, I think when we stumble into kind of different industries, we always stumble into it, but then somehow realize, actually, this is where I'm supposed to be. So what was the transition from going from property surveying to care? Because they're very two different industries. So would you say that it's something that you've always had a desire for? Are you just somebody that's very compassionate? You studied health and social care, so there's definitely something to do with the care sector that, you're definitely inspired by. So what was it?
I think for me, I genuinely like helping people. And but the thing is, it could be a gift and a curse at the same time, because people can obviously take your kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
And, I am told often that I am selfless, but I'm like, when you are in the care environment, it's very heartfelt. You're dealing with clients that are at end of life, and for somebody to come back and turn around and say, thank you for, giving me extra life, or touching my life, or, giving me purpose again. So that for me is very heart fulfilling. So I think for me as well, falling into care, it was actually, it was a plan B, because I did have a deep desire for property. I saw myself in the real estate industry and stuff. But then, you know, you have to always adapt to change. And I think from then, that's when I realized that, you know, I can adapt to change. So I landed into the care sector, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I absolutely hated it. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Any care coordinators out there can agree with me. I think it was so dysfunctional. You know, 10 years in the industry, I was practically on call for 10 years. You know, it affects your personal life. You know, you start like either losing weight or gaining weight. And, you know, as much as you're giving, it's actually taken from you mentally, physically too.
Absolutely. Emotionally as well, because you're dealing with people and their health and their issues, and then they become reliant on you and dependent on you, so you feel obligated. So it's probably a mixed bag of emotions, as much as it's very rewarding. And I think it takes a certain character to be able to say, right, I'm going to go into the industry, because you hear some horror stories.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So is it care homes then?
No, so I'm actually in domiciliary. So we provide the care staff, we train them up, and we send them out into the community.
Wow.
You know, we work alongside, you know, the social services, the local authorities and stuff. But one thing that I can actually say to anybody that's actually in care, it's actually definitely helped build me in terms of being, you know, a businesswoman in the sector. It's actually like my patience. You have to have patience, and you have to be quick. And I realized that all of these qualities, even coordinating. So remember, I told you I was on call for like practically 10 years. So my brain was always ticking. If somebody didn't turn up for work, I had to think outside the box, right? This person's here, they have to go there. So my brain's always, I have like a famous saying, you know, I'm known for connecting the dots, you see. Yeah, you just always get kind of caught up in the middle. But again, you know, it is rewarding, but at the same time draining. And it made me realize that the business processes is not like what it is supposed to be. And that's what made me kind of venture out. And that's what led me into business consulting and practically becoming.
Is that the Self-Invest Club? So talk me through the Self-Invest Club. Where has that come from then?
Okay, this one's special. This one's my baby. Like really, I gave birth to it. But a lot of entrepreneurs will agree with me. Initially, it didn't start off as my baby. It started off literally as a different company. It was Soul Sisters. But then I realized I was attracting more than just the female. I was attracting the males as well. So I thought, let me change the dynamics of it. Everyone's reaching out. I don't want to just, you know, be biased and focus on one party. And then my passion came about when I started hating my 9 to 5. I felt used. I felt undervalued. I didn't feel appreciated. And I started venturing out and stuff. And then I realized that I actually know a lot more than what they're actually doing. And, you know, I became, you know, familiar with simplifying business processes and stuff. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. So that kind of paved the way for me. But then I did have an issue. Nobody knew who I was in the business world, you know, in terms of.
You knew who you was. What do you mean by that? Would you say?
I'll elaborate. When you're starting a business, you have to be established, or obviously your branding helps you get established. With Self-Invest Club, no one really knew my expertise as a business developer because I was self-made. But then I realized that within the care sector, I was very well known. I was established in there. So I thought to myself, okay, why don't I use the same formula that I have for Self-Invest Club and use it to pivot that for me, to at least give me establishment, build my credibility. And then once that's done, I could come back to my baby, you know. And
interesting. So you just kind of mapped out and navigated your way to say, okay,
do you mind? Can you just give me 1 second? Is that okay? I've just had a solo.
We will take a short break whilst my guest returns. Hey
The joys of working from home. Sorry, I just had a
break. Just
Sorry
waiting
about
for Maria to return back to the screen, and we are back. She's back in the studio. Welcome back, Maria. We just took
Apologies.
a commercial break.
The duties of the care industry, duty calls.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
And we're absolutely online live making this work, so no problem at all. How was it? So when you say, because I think when we think about kind of establishing business and we feel that we need to have kind of, I wouldn't say reputation, but just a bit of a track record of, you know, what qualifies us in this space, who are going to be the people that can, you know, validate us and validate what we do, and, you know, in terms of our references and all of that stuff. Some of it I would say is needed, but not all of it. And what we do on this show here is we talk to predominantly women in business, those who are thinking of starting a business, those who are just kind of sitting on businesses and ideas and they just haven't brought them to market, or those that just need to hear how others have done it and navigated their way through, because I think we all have got our own kind of like backstory of how we started, how we began, what inspired our journey, and how we literally just, as you rightly said, became self-made. Because a lot of our self-starters, that's what we've had to do. Not everything has worked, hello, but something, you know, test the water, trial it out, see what works, see what doesn't, but Absolutely. Still get up and keep going. But there's some people out there that will just be like, you know what, no, it didn't work, I'm not going to do it, I'm back in my 9 to 5. But when you know you've been called to the marketplace to bring a business to the world, there's something in you that just will never allow you to give up. Even if you wanted to, it'd be like, no, this is what I'm here to do, this is what I'm called to do, and I'm not going to allow for any obstacles or hurdles to knock me down. Even if you do have your, you know, your woe is me moment, your little pity party, but you dust yourself up and you get back up. So dust yourself off, I should say, and get back up.
Brush it off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And surround yourself with the right people that can give you the pep talks, the mentors, the coaches, the advisors, the critical friends, the sounding boards, you name it. You know, we need all of them. How have you decided to stay so persistent in your quest and still being able to juggle 2 businesses? What's been, if you were going to say anything to anybody that's watching or who's going to watch back on the replay, what's been kind of that drive that's kept you going?
My passion for changing the cycle of our generation. I feel as well, not to like blow my own trumpet, but I feel like I have a calling and I feel like I do have a purpose. I feel that I've been gifted with a lot of gifts, and I know that it's not for me to keep, hence why I do what I do, because I think it's a blessing seeing people flourish and grow in front of you. Another passion is I dislike being tied down. I think freedom is very important. You know, the last 10 months I've spent traveling during the lockdown, fortunately for me, business and a little bit of vacation. Well, but again, you know, the designs and the model that I've done, I've been able to experience that, and you know, I've done it, and I'm willing to teach that. I always say, as a leader, you have to lead by example. And anything that I do, I'm always the forefront. I'm always the guinea pig to begin with, because I can't teach if I'm not the living experience. So I go through it, becoming my own guinea pig. I literally did a prison break out of 9 to 5 with my blueprint and my step-to-step of how to survive, and it worked. You know, 5 years now, I've been able to travel. I've had flexibility. I've been able to spend more time with the family. I mean, the siblings take advantage of childcare, you know, but you know, but it's great, you know, you do have that flexibility, right? And
definitely, and that's what it is. You seem like you're living a fulfilled life, because I think a lot of what we do, not to say that business is a walk in the park, because it's not, you know, there's ups and downs, and there's hurdles, there's challenges, there's seasons as well in business as well. There's times when you're like, whoa, more of this, please. And there's other times you're like, what is going on?
No more of this, please.
No more. Exactly. But what's lovely is that you've really identified how your time management and how you can be more available for those that need you. And I think as well, you know, we've got to, as business owners, I think it's important that we run these businesses and they don't run us. And having it where, you know, what I'm loving at the moment is this laptop lifestyle. We, you know, if anything that this pandemic has taught us, and you know, this COVID-19, is that we now can work so remotely. I mean, majority of my guests are not in the same country of me that comes onto the show, and the things that we've managed to be able to do during this pandemic, and even me launching this show, this has been kind of like a little passion project of mine, something I had in the pipeline to do. And then I just thought, wow, I've got a lot of time at home. Let me just get this thing set up now. And what it's birthed, and I think what it's birthed for many, is it's been a massive eye-opener, but it's also given us a sense of urgency to ensure that actually we are doing what it is that we're called to do. As you rightly said, you've got a call in, but equally, like, being that self-satisfaction that we all desire to have. Because I think, you know, people are tired of the rat race that we were once taught and told.
Trained.
Exactly. Trained and conditioned, because suddenly woke up and realized, well, actually, there surely has to be a better way. And as we discover that better way and explore different angles and try and build, and I suppose, you know, use the innovative approaches that we have, because we're creative individuals. And the more that we're able to create, and the more that we're able to, you know, bring things to the world, whether they work or they don't, at least we know that we've tried. And something's going to stick. I always say something will stick. The more you pursue, the more, you know, you will find like-minded individuals, and you'll find somebody that will say, you know what, I'm going to give her a break. You know, I'm going to open some doors for her, and opportunities will just begin to flow. So in terms of, you know, I like to really keep it 100 real on the show. If you were going to say, like, when you're at your probably lowest point, or you're at a point where it's like, I don't even know if I can do this, what would you say are the key things that you use to keep you going?
Definitely faith. One thing that I have to say, and it's really stepping out of the world of security, but what it made me realize is faith. Too many people use that word very loosely. My faith was tested, like, literally to the core, and because I kept the faith, I saw results, and I have witnesses that can actually testify for me, and I'm glad, because sometimes, you know, you tell people these things and they just think you're just, you know, over exaggerating. But I'm definitely faith, and trying to not break your routines, because when I went on my journey of developing, I went through stages where every single morning without fail, I'll listen to audios, motivational stuff. I'll start my mornings off like that. And then throughout, you know, the weeks and stuff, I always try and dedicate, you know, listening to at least 5 audiobooks that's going to teach me something. And the more I listen to this, the more it gives me the encouragement and the guidance. If I do feel that I am falling off, I'm able, because we all have the moments, we fall off, but then the question is how long do you stay down? And, you know, for myself, I've been literally like a basketball. I'll bounce back up again and spring back. But there's nothing wrong. Have a cry. You know, it can get overwhelming, because a lot of people, it depends on you. They depend on you. I have staff in Ghana. I have staff in Nepal. When things are going great, they're going great. They get rewarded. When things are not going so great, it's like, oh my goodness. And then it's like, ooh. And, you know, as long as you get yourself back in control of it, you'll always be all right.
Absolutely.
But you have to take that time out if it's getting overwhelming. 100.
And I was going to say, that's what I was going to touch on as well, because, you know, this kind of go hard, don't stop, push yourself, that's not realistic. You do have to know when it's time to say, right, I need to refuel, just like when your battery on that iPhone is running down and you need to plug that socket in, right? We need to recharge our batteries. So what would you say a typical, because I think one of the things that I'm also noticing, and I'm guilty of it myself, is that even in my switch off time, because I'm such a creative, such an entrepreneur,
Always thinking, right?
always thinking, always still trying to like think of another project or introduce this something new, and begin to develop some stuff. And it's hard to switch
Yes,
off.
that
Yeah,
balancing.
you're kind of like, it's in you, isn't it? So what would you say is the best way to kind of really take that time off?
The thing is, the best way, I'm speaking for myself, but everyone will have to find their passion, because I have a passion. I love music. I love writing music, but in fact I don't write music, I freestyle music. So like some people will go boxing and take out their aggressions and stuff. Like when work used to stress me out every Friday, when I used to clock off and come home, an instrumental will go on, and like words will just come out my mouth, but really the words that actually came out my mouth was literally so put together, like it was pre-written. So much so that I started recording, because I realized that I never knew or expected what words were coming out. And once I recorded it and played it back, I taught myself something as well. So for me, it's the music. And if you're feeling happy, sad, you let it out, and that's
awesome.
my first.
So that's really therapeutic as well, and it's a great release, isn't it? I think those are the things what I think is beautiful about entrepreneurs. There's many strings to our bow, and a lot of people will be like, oh, I didn't know that you did. Oh, you never told me about that. But these are like some of the talents and gifts and hidden talents. Some will know about it, and this is what I think is super beautiful about being like having such a variety in you, because you'll never know, even with your writing and all of that, who's to say like any artist is not going to pick up them, because people are always looking for the majority of the songs that we know and we always jam into and
absolutely
vibe. Those artists didn't write them.
True. And what you tend to find is always the one that you neglect or leave at the bottom will always be the one that takes you further.
That's right.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Jamaica. What are you doing? Are you doing anything out there at the moment currently? What's the
what am I not doing? I've got my hands involved in so many things at the minute. I've got some projects, but at the minute the projects for Jamaica are just currently in planning still. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, because for me, I like to plan. I believe in having a plan within a plan within a plan, and micro planning. So because I see a lot of things that's happening, I'm putting like training courses together, like basic survival skills, how to survive a global pandemic, how to become an entrepreneur. We have to go back to these basic survival skills, farming, how to, we see the news, right? We see what's going on in the world. Once they decide to cut the chain supply, what is your contingency plan? So my plans for now is in investing. I'm looking for land at the minute, so my eyes are on land because I want to be in a position, again, as a leader, we have to provide. So for everyone that's around me and the empire that I'm building, I have to provide. The responsibilities on me. So Jamaica at the minute, land and building like a training unit where we have powerful internet, where we could even train them remotely. So like yourself, Fiona, or me, we could be here like in the UK and literally teach what we're learning, the stuff you've got going on, vice versa. And then that way, when the knowledge is actually spreading like wildfire, we can add to the change, because we're here for a purpose. We're not just here to look cute, have babies and get married. There's so much more to that.
There is. It is. And there's knowledge hunters out there as well, because if we are so resourceful, and I always say, when you are resourceful, it's very selfish to keep all of your resources to your resources are there to be shared, and also your knowledge is also there to be shared as well, because there are individuals, you give them a start, there's so much that they can do with it. And I'm finding more so now that we are, as you rightly said, because let's keep it real, we're extremely privileged. We have our Wi-Fi, we have our unlimited data, we have, we connect to things in an instant click button and we're on. Not everybody is privileged like that. So I definitely love what you're saying about that, because it is all about giving back, and it's all about, what else can I do further than just here in the UK, because it's bigger than the UK. I always say that if anything that this pandemic has taught us is that we are making some amazing global connections now.
Absolutely.
In terms of investments, I mean, say for example, you've got somebody listening who will watch, either who's watching now or watching on the replay, and they say, right, I would like to know a bit about this investment. I want to be part of the self-investment club. I want to know what Maria is about to teach. How do they tap into you?
Oh, wow. Well, again, well, you guys can find me on my socials, first and foremost. I'm on Self Invest Club, www.selfinvestclub.com. You could check out our website. Our direct telephone number is there as well. That could also be found on the website, which is 0203 519 3040. Yes, and then we will of course have the McAlpine Care. If you do want to get involved, I'm actually running some programs now, and they're starting in December. So I'm running an extensive course actually, but it's limited positions, because what I'm offering, anybody that joins the 6 months program, at the end of the program, they get a customized business plan. Because what I find as well, the opportunity is not there, the platform's not there. So I want to literally, especially because it's my 5-year anniversary in business and my birthday's coming up. So I want to celebrate by helping people. So the 6 months program will start in December. It will run straight for 6 months, and it will literally entail of many things. So from, how to start a business, but we start from, I start from the core with managing yourself. People don't realize that even just like decluttering your house and organizing things into compartments can actually, stay your focus. So the transformation course that I'm doing is for not just mental growth, not just personal development, but we also do fitness as well. I transformed my body when I was away for 10 months. I literally transformed after a near-death experience, but we won't get into that now. But literally absolutely transformed. So I want to incorporate that. That's all going to be incorporated into the course. So when you come on the course, everybody is leaving. It's like they're coming to the army. They're coming into Miss Marshall's army. We're training them up. They're going to be working out. Yes, they're going to sweat. They're not going to count until it starts hurting. And everything's going to be documented, because we want evidence. And we only have 100% success rates around here.
Wow.
So if you are interested,
I love it.
I'm on board.
It's holistic, isn't it? Because I love what you've just said when you think about the home, the mind, that there's so many things that, when you think about it, Maria, that everything is connected. So you can't work in clutter, or you can't focus. Some people can, but it distorts, and if you are in a space of trying to work from a place where, you want to create, you want to really drive change. I love what you said, because it does start from, what does my personal space look like? What does my routine look like? What are my habits? Do I know when I'm more productive? Do I know, all of these things about being super in tune with yourself really builds that picture. And it also teaches you about the type of leader that you are, because there's a lot of us that have done leadership training and understand, the Myers-Briggs, all of the stuff. When you understand a little bit about your personality type, what type of leader are you? You need somebody. I'll tell you the honest truth, and this is me being super, super, super transparent. My team, like, I'm the dynamic one, I'm the innovator, I have the ideas, I make the kind of, I basically delegate. I'm the delegator to say, right, this is the plan, this is the idea, this is what we're going to do. But the skill sets that I have around me are the implementers. I know how to mobilize, I know how to empower, I know how to lead, I know how to show people, right, this is what we're going to be doing, and this is how it's going to be done. Hence why, being in business 10 years, it's taken a while to get the correct team, but I am really grateful and giving thanks for who is now on board, because it's really starting to reshape the way that we're doing things. And also it's freed me up a bit to do my own personal stuff aside from the organization and building that. So I think when we're thinking about, the type of leader that you are, I don't want to be the type of leader where everything lands on my shoulders. A lot of responsibility is there, yes, but it shouldn't all be coming into me. So having a second in command, having a trustworthy individual who can do things in the background, can hold me to account as well, can remind me about things, and can say, actually, I'll take over that, or you know, actually you do that, and it's better that I do this bit. It makes sense, because you see, sometimes, and this is, I always say that the titles that I use, I call them my team. I'm not people that, I used to have this intern before, and she was so sweet. She got Indonesia. My boss. She said, my boss, everywhere we went, this is my boss. This is my boss.
And
I'd be like, you don't have to say your, but it was just But for me, I think when you work with your team and let them know that everybody is part of this, everybody is going to make this vision possible. I can't do it alone. I need you guys to help me to bring this to fruition. And that's where you empower them, because there's times when, you know, you can feel quite isolated in this space. If I'm to be honest, you feel really alone with your thoughts, and you feel like, you know, am I the right fit for driving this forward? Is this really, you know, what I'm to be doing? But then you have to recognize, yes, it is. You just need to have the right people around you.
Exactly.
What would you say? What have you done to kind of like build a strategic team that you've got like global, you know, kind of entities now? How have you managed to do that?
I always use Jesus as an example. Like, how long did he take to choose his disciples? You know, it takes time, and I truly believe that you find the right people at the right time. For me, I single-handedly ran the business for so long, and for a long time, I only had 3 people, including myself, and they were not based in the UK. One was based in Ghana, one was based in Nepal. I saw an opportunity. I took advantage. Well, I took advantage in a good way of an opportunity, because it was a win-win. I always believe in a three-way win when it comes to, you know, working or doing any form of partnerships. So yeah, I had a vacation on holiday, and I needed some things being printed, and I exchanged the contact details of the young gentleman, and I negotiated. I said, how about you come on board full time, and when I get back to the UK, I'll get you ongoing work. And we formed a partnership, and he's been with me for 7 years ever since. And my HR manager is based in Nepal. It's funny, we actually connected on Facebook in my earlier days, before even going into business, when I was doing the whole Miss Jamaica beauty pageants, you know, just to build up your esteem and speaking and networking. And she followed me literally from that journey up until now, but she just always told me she admired me. But then, you know, at the time I was like, but there's nothing there to admire. But, you know, she's seen the growth, I've seen the growth, and, you know, she's come on board. She's been with us now for 7 years. So for me, I've been able to create opportunities. You know, the currency that we have here, as opposed to what they have in Ghana and Nepal, I'm able to change lives and make something happen. And the only thing that I tell my staff is, you know, just don't keep it to yourself. If you could help somebody else, help them too. And yeah, so that's I think the sound's actually gone off. I can't hear you, but maybe
Sorry, that was me.
Okay, you're back.
No, I'm just saying that's amazing, because you've literally used the power of social media, right? So everything that you've done during the period where, you know, you had your time, as you said, around the Miss Jamaica, doing your networking, doing all of that stuff, and then now finding that team that didn't necessarily have to be in the same place as you.
Exactly.
But you've made it work, and through the power of social media. How powerful is that?
Amazing. I never say these on my team, and I always say, you know, whatever, like, as a director, as an owner, like, I always say, if I'm driving the Bentley, you're going to be driving the Bentley too. Whatever I have is equally. If we all have a goal, as long as we all, you know, sit and work together, we could all work together, you know, to achieve the end goal. Absolutely. You know, even if it's for a short period of time. Some people are a little bit more advanced, and this is where people go wrong in business and friendship. They compete too much rather than working together and having their togetherness. It goes wrong, and that's another main factor that I'll tell any business owner or somebody thinking of starting a business. It is so important to partner up. I don't believe in competition, and I don't believe in competitors, because you could actually partner up with your competition. You might have clients or staff and vice versa. You could actually make each other profit off each other by working together. But people, again, don't have the mindset.
They don't. And what you've just said right there, I don't know if it is that it's a UK thing or what, but there has to be a shift that takes place because, as you rightly said, is we're not in competition together. Do you know what we can do? It really blows my mind sometimes with the mindset of individuals, and then you come across some other individuals. It's like they understand the power of collaboration. They understand what it means to work together. They understand what it says to kind of let's do this, let's negotiate, let's work from a perspective where you win, I win. You know what I mean? It's got to be that. But I suppose what I'm seeing more so of now is that it's becoming a little bit more necessary. I think once upon a time people were a little bit more closed into that. I think there's a bit of a shift happening, and we're having to work together. We're having to connect. Don't get me wrong, not everybody can work together. It's not everybody you can do business with. That's okay. But you can definitely find some individuals who say, right, let's do a joint venture. Let's test the water. Let me introduce you to my networks. Let me open some doors for you. And even if it is that actually you don't necessarily do, because I've had some amazing introductions that has given me financial stability for quite a good period of time. And that individual, there's a few individuals that I can name, but one in particular didn't want nothing other than to say, look, there's an opportunity here. I know what you do. I know what your organization does. This fits the mold. I'm going to open some doors for you. No strings attached. And I love that because I look back and I think, wow, you know,
organic. But it's organic, you know, it's nice.
Absolutely. But that should be the culture anyway. I think in business, that should be the culture. We look at other industries, we look at the big conglomerates, we look at, you know, these big major corporations. They're all working together. Do they probably like each other? Probably not. Do they have, you know, probably off the record, you know, disputes? We'll never know. But
it's just too much competition. It's competition, and it's unnecessary. And the thing is, in every institute, you always come across the politics. You know, I've had an incident, you know, because you know, people were like friends or associates will ring, you know, and speak about incidents in the workplace, and some of the stories that I'm hearing, I'm like, seriously? And this is one of the main reasons why I refuse to be in the institute. Why every single day you're waking up to go with practically your second family that you do not like seeing, and there is always that one person, right, that has an issue with you because you're either doing better than them or they're threatened by you, and then it's like, oh, come on.
What is that about? And I suppose as well, when you see stuff like that, I like when you said the second family, because it's where you're going to be spending the majority of your time, so it makes life so much easier. If the people that you're around, the people you're spending time with, hello, they are likable as well, because you absorb that energy. So as we're coming down, I was going to say this, like, what is the big picture for you? If you were going to say to me, right, Fiona, my 3-year plan right now is to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you have got your hands in many pies. You're still very driven. You're still very passionate. You've still got that motivation. You're not a leader that I'm listening to and I'm thinking, I wonder if she should retire already. Because you know, there's some people you talk to and you're like, I think you need to retire because you don't sound like you like what you do. But I can hear that you love what you do. I can hear that you've still got so much more. Talk to me about what does it like?
No, it's funny, and it's funny when you ask me these questions, because I'm so used to, you know, like giving like bigger picture. For me, Fiona, right, the essence of life is growth, right? So even if you feel that you've fully established, there's always more. You know, a tree will grow, you know, things will grow. We're humans, we'll have to grow. So my thing is growth and helping as many people as possible that I possibly can while I'm here. Because even like if you was to help 5 people, you know, literally like transform their lives, I was to help 5 people and vice versa. What I'm like, I feel, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm Moses, and sometimes leading the people. You know, but sometimes I feel like even my words and my dreams are even more powerful. But I'm gonna be honest, I hyperventilate. The other day I was literally taking a shower and I saw my whole vision, and my heart was literally beating outside of my chest, and because I know it's so close. But then I'm like, let me breathe, because I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm different. If you come to my house 24/7, Fiona, you'd be like, oh my goodness, I've got post-it notes in the kitchen, around the room.
I love it.
I wake up like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be walking up and down. If somebody rings me and they've had an awful day at 9 to 5, oh my goodness, that gears me up even more to break channels and find that escape route, because that's my passion.
You're a post-it note girl. I'm a post-it note girl myself as well. I love it. I've even got like my journals and different books, and I write different things, and I laugh at myself sometimes, even when I read notes to myself. My notes to myself are hilarious, like literally.
You know,
probably my grandchildren will be thinking, boy, our great grandma,
she had character, right?
Yeah, she had character, you know. But it's so important to be able to think like that. And like you said, you're here to serve. What I love, what I'm hearing from you, is that you've got a servant heart and a servant spirit, and you believe in wanting to give, wanting to help, wanting to see what you can do for others. And that's
Definitely.
such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Because when we look at life now, you know, and we look at purpose, it is all about actually, what else did I do other than, you know, living good and having the niceties in life and doing all the things? What did I do to help another? How did I, you know, pass on the mantle? And what's going to be the legacy? You know, what is going to kind of be that mark? How am I going to continue to blaze that trail and leave that mark on earth to say, you know, Maria was here? Do you understand?
Exactly.
And it's so important to really remember that. And I love what you're saying, because it really does. It brings it back home. It brings it back into remembrance. It reminds us actually what we are actually here to be doing. And it is about kind of seeing how we can be impactful to others, you know, and what else we can do, because we've all got something to give, and we've all got something to impart, good, bad, and ugly, you know.
Definitely, like 100. That's just it. You know, this thing is, it's so beautiful. Like, it's just amazing, you know, when you especially when you could put your hands on something and you could even bring it to life, or, you know, it's like you're working miracles, because technically when you're changing these lives, you know, God's working through you, or those that don't believe in God, the universe, or it's working directly through you, and it's a beautiful thing. I tell you another thing as well, like, really, and you asked me again, what drives me? I realize that I work better as a leader. I'm great on my own as well, but I work better as a leader, because I know that I have people depending on me. When I have people depending on me, it makes me work harder. If I know that I have to run a training program where I have to train and be doing my 1 hour workout 4 days a week, and I've already told a classroom of students that we have to do it, puts pressure on me. So then at the same time, not only am I building them, I'm able to build myself. You know, and that's the beauty of it, because you glow, and you just grow together, and it's just amazing.
It's amazing. And you know what? I'm very similar, because I actually work better under pressure. I know it's not the best, and my team will say they are quite very opposite. They're polar opposite, in fact. But there's just something about that kind of adrenaline that, you know, you've got a deadline, you know, you've got to get it done. Don't get me wrong, not everything works like that, but there's certain elements of actually that extra bit of pressure just gives you that adrenaline, like a fire. You know, you've got to execute it, you've got to get it done, and you've got to deliver and show up. So yeah, no, it's amazing. But anyway, as we are winding down, I just want to say a big thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Such an inspirational guest. You are so welcome. I am so looking forward. I mean, what's beautiful about our relation? We met like, how many? Because my little one must have been about, because he's 10 now, so maybe about 8 years ago.
I was going to say over a decade ago. You know,
a decade, because the organization's 10 years old, and I started it when he was a baby. So you're definitely right.
I remember seeing. I've been watching you, Fiona. I've been watching your journey. Really, everything you post, and the thing is beautiful, and it goes to show you never know who's watching you. Because look, even though we met 10 years ago, really, I was watching you from, you know, like what you did for single mothers as well. I think it's beautiful, because again, you identified a need, and like yourself, you know, you've been consistent. It hasn't been easy, and look, good things are falling in your hands. People are wanting to support you and help with funding and open doors, and like, you're touching lives too, girl.
It's been, I always tell people, it's been a journey, and it's one that I've really had to grow and discover and develop, because in the early stages I knew I had, you know, something that I wanted to do, but how it was going to form, what it was going to look like, how it was going to pay me, what sort of organization was it going to be, you know, what kind of services were going to be provided, how was this all going to come to fruition. And what I'm grateful for is that the consistency, and it's really refreshing when I hear comments like that from people like you who have watched the journey over the 10 years. And I always tell people, stay consistent with what, if one thing you must be able to do is really be known for what it is that you do, because once you've mastered that, then that's why I'm able to do this other stuff, because it's a natural founder's progression.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because now I can teach what I know, now I can share what I know, now I can interview others and talk about, you know, because most people, when you're in this kind of motivational, influential and kind of mindset leadership space, others want to share and know and learn. So this season is just exciting. So I'm just grateful. I'm loving the fact that.
But you're glowing. Do you know, really, like, for all the viewers out there, really, you know, a lot of people don't see like behind closed doors and stuff. But really, I've seen Fiona's journey. You know, I've seen, like, honestly, the stress, because the thing is, you're honest. So whatever you're going through, you post it, and I love that. You're very real. You spoke about the challenges throughout the years, and then you've seen your growth. Look at how you embrace your 42nd, or your 21 again, baby girl, right? 21 again.
And it just reversed it. I know.
But embracing it. But you was embracing it, and I saw that you were happy with yourself. You're an author. Like, well done. Like, hey, let me give you another crown and place that on top of you.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you so much. And I celebrate you too. This is what it's about, you know. This is why I love this show, because it's all about us just filling our uplifting. Come on now, we need it. We're living in a very strange time, and the more we encourage, we uplift. Come on now, it just fuels that cup. It fills that cup back up, which is what we need. So yeah, I'm loving all of it, and I'm going to continue to stay plugged in with you, and we look forward to more updates. I'll definitely be bringing you back, because I'm really interested in the international stuff that you've got going on, and also the Self-Invest Club. We've got to, you know, we've got to share this knowledge. So we will be connecting as well post
100
this and see what we can do. I just want to say a big thank you for joining the Fiona Small Show. I will be back with another guest, and let's just give Maria a big round of applause. Thank you for joining me, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
What your subject matter is, whatever field that is in, stick with it. Immerse yourself in it. One of my mentors told me, master your brief. And when he said master your brief, I was thinking, what do you mean master my brief? And what I did was I really have done that. I've mastered my brief to the extent where I can quote stats, I can quote this, I can draw for reports and journals, and, you know, we've done focus groups on this, that and the other, and then now people are like, whoa, okay, she knows that exactly what she's talking about, because I had to master my brief.
Most definitely, you got it.